Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to Chemically Bonded, part 7 of this Let's Play. And we've begun chapter 3 in the game where we're starting to get the building blocks of the repair of Kiyoko's and Naomi's friendship. Students filling the space around me, spanning far and wide as a non-hollow melody of nature and chatter greets my ears. Wiping sleep from my tear ducts, the thoughts of yesterday cross my mind once again as I keep my eyes pierced on the doors before me. The entrance to what will hopefully turn out to be a path to rekindling the broken bonds between two different yet similar individuals. Two oxymoronic hearts given a new chance to be together again. Ah.
Because you've been here for me. It means a lot.
It means a lot to us too.
So,
Aww.
I wanted to thank you.
That was a special moment, wasn't it?
Anyway. It might take some time, but I'll try it. I'll try to accept her.
No, you either will accept her or you will not. But this is a kind of a situation where it is going to be a try, because it could go either way. The feeling of Kiyoko's warmth against my chest still fresh within my mind. All I could do is smile, a spring breeze crossing my face. Whether things go to plan, that's for them to decide. But the steps to make them happy again are finally falling into place. To make Kiyoko happy. Our history, despite brief, holds its own value in our lives. The antics of the science club, the highlight of my final year of high school. And this is only just the beginning. Skirting my way through the corridor of usual morning crowds, obstacles on the road towards class. The warmth of the sunlight piercing through the panes of glass along the hall hits my cheek in a familiar rhythmic fashion. My day-to-day life, however, changing, but still keeping the basic fundamentals I'd honestly miss.
Boy, you tricky git.
Why are you sounding all Scottish? What? Standing beside the doors to class, a small girl leans against the wall with a fierce expression. Her eyes pointed towards me like daggers as she continuously maintains a cute-lit threatening pout. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just felt like saying that.
Like, are we surprised at this point, folks? Closing the gap between us, Kiyoko stands with a new happy expression as she raises her hands triumphantly, almost as if she's proud of her antics. Yet despite it being now commonplace, the same heartfelt smile finds its way on my face as my cheeks raise diligently in response. You've been waiting for me?
No.
By that expression, that is not what you mean.
Well, not long anyway. I wanted to tell you something.
And what would that be? The emotions of yesterday still hovering above us. The expression of her face is distinctly hard to read. Her cheeks flustered, eyes shield away. It's almost as if she's embarrassed. Saving my own breath, Kyoko's own sounds out before me, pumping the values of my heart as timidly flows between us.
Thank you.
For what? Almost annoyed, Kiyoko maintains her rosy cheeks as she pouts towards me once again, this time shorter than the last.
For what you have done with Naomi.
We haven't done anything with Naomi. You sound like we've just, dispatched her or something like that. No,
Not
joking.
I didn't think about forgiving her.
At the end of the day, the importance of their relationship was evident from the start. Kiyoko too held the same feelings Naomi wanted to protect. A set of feelings they both wanted to feel once again. It comes down to time. Time fixes these things. Not all the time, but time is the only way for the heart to heal in this situation. No matter how long it takes, it'll get there. Well, it's okay, really. Ruffling her skirt as she adjusts her stance, Kiyoko continues peering in my direction. A look of content remains glazed across her face as she sniffles slightly. The long period of woe now open to a brighter future.
It's not just okay.
Aw.
It's great.
It is fan-dabby-tastic.
I want to make it back to you. I'll buy you a juice at lunch.
Is that all we get, a juice? Nah, we should never be ungrateful.
That's nothing in comparison. But it's a start.
Aww. Smiling diligently before me, the feelings in my own heart well up at the sight of her happiness. A cute smile beaming in the morning sunlight as the first bell rings for class. It itself a treasure at the end of our long day, and the beginning of another together. With a flustered heartbeat, a smile of my own makes its way back to her as I return her warmth. There are problems seemingly behind them. Seeing her like this is enough to make my heart skip a beat. The time we spent together fixing their problems, now deeply rooted and sprouting into a world filled with new possibilities, I want to enjoy. The bell chiming from above, the time to start class has diligently arrived. The brief separation of friends, with Kiyoko in the front and me only slightly behind. Sitting as we idly wait for our duties to be over to speak freely once again. Morning sunlight striking us. A mutual pair of smiles is all we need to mark our brief farewell as we head into class side by side. A once boring life now filled with an eccentric type of joy, and a once rueful life now being rebuilt as she climbs up the path to happiness and glory. Two students of class 3-1 passers bys to anyone else, yet still two friends. Yeah, passers by, usually passer.
So class, I'm expecting full attendance next week. Can't have young minds slacking off in this day and age.
I don't think we need young minds slacking off in any day and age, Mr. Kabar.
Make sure to bring your homework in on time too.
Don't worry, I'll be there 5 minutes early, just to make sure. Our now accustomed economics teacher now gripped by his own lethargy. The class lets out a sigh of relief in response as the lunch break steams ahead. Groups of friends converging together, hustling through the room to get together. Lucky enough, the cute and eccentric bundle of knowledge still remains slumped on her desk as I join the crowds traversing the room. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be?
Just checking up. You fell asleep, didn't you?
I'm a diligent student. Why would I do that?
Because you have bags under your eyes, maybe? Well, yes, they did take it out from all of us. The event's still fresh in my mind. The pains in the hearts are only just beginning to soothe. Their desire to be together again now sprouted. Do you want to go get some lunch?
I asked you a question. But, sure. I'd like that.
Mm-hmm. With Naomi?
It couldn't hurt. After all, I want to make things right again, too.
Then it's settled. The uneasiness in her voice a given, a heavy heart now thrust to forgive and forget the sorrows staining their past to focus on the happiness they both sought. Her peachy lips trembling slightly as nervousness flows from within her. A girl caught up in the tangibility of her own emotions, touched by each other's desires to rebuild the bonds they once knew. To make an omelette, you've got to break some eggs. Even if it's hard for her, she wants to be friends with Naomi again. Hello, cool Naomi. What kind of desire would there be to call Kiyoko? Maybe just because she's... Wait a minute, why do we only have 2 people in our contacts? Like, where's Mum and Dad? Oh, you can't actually... Okay, I'm calling Naomi. Wait, why is your phone going off? Naomi. Dialing her number, I stared towards the picture of her oddly cheerful face on the screen before me, a sight of happiness contrasting the tear-soaked face of yesterday. It's not hard to say that the sight of their faces makes me flustered too.
What do you want?
What do you
Oh.
think?
It's just you.
Yeah, it's just me. That's certainly a warm hello.
What did you expect?
Nothing else really. That's what we've come to expect really. I can't really say I was expecting anything different despite her wanting to change. She's still her usual self.
Do you want to go get some lunch? It's not like I'm doing anything.
Okie dokie, I was just about to ask you the same thing. Her nervousness is apparent through her sharp breaths and stutters. I can't help but imagine her sheepish expression as she tries her best to maintain her usual brash attitude.
How nice of you.
Mm-hmm. Is that sarcasm?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll meet you in the cafeteria soon. I just have to finish changing. I beat my personal best, you know.
Heck yeah. So she was doing something after
Bring
all.
Kiyoko.
Hanging up abruptly, the line falls silent as the feeling of the cool glass screen against my face becomes more prominent. With a pouty face peering towards me, I guess Kiyoko couldn't help overhearing our conversation. Just as I slide my phone back into its usual place in my pocket, chimes ran out once again as I bring it back to my ear in disdain.
I forgot to say, but thank you.
Hey. Once again, leaving me with silence, I stare back at the screen, expecting her to call again any second. Kiyoko too joining in as she continues looking on quizzically. She's coming.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Analysing the look plastered upon Kyoko's face, themes of anxiety and nervousness shine out to me as she pouts in disdain once again. Whether she likes being stared at or not, it's clear that the emotions inside her are still fluttering around her heart. We should probably get going. We do want to get nice food, right? With what the canteen being a first come first served battleground. It's a war zone out here. It's just whatever you get is what you get.
Right.
Trotting to my side, the happiness inside her beams from her smile as her lips glisten under the light. The trembling once bestowed upon them now calmed as her quivering is inhabited by her own ambition, but desire to make things right again. Indeed, it's a good recipe. Swinging the cafeteria doors open, the smells of freshly cooked food wafts towards us. The sound of bustling students trying to get some reading out alongside. An abnormally large number of students too, as if the day I had to eat food with the school's most iconic students was the day people stopped doing packed lunches.
Is she here?
A flustered look now coated her pale face. It's almost as if she didn't expect her to be here after all. At all, crimson now racing to her cheeks as she blushes meekly under the ceiling's strong lights. Her breath almost unsteady. Did you not expect her to be?
No, I did. But as scientists, you have to expect the unexpected.
You know, a lot of discoveries throughout humanity were not discovered intentionally. A lot of them were accidents, and it just turns out by recreating the accidents that you made, you discovered something.
Anyway, food.
You know what, that is definitely a face you would make when it comes to food. Taking no spare moment to end our conversation normally, Kiyoko shies her way over to the queue. An almost complete contrast to apt desire to be fed. Looking at her from this angle, it's clear to see why she fit the bill as an athlete. Okay. Why did that flash again as I haven't already seen enough of it is.
What are you waiting for? Come on.
We're just thinking about good times. Alright. I guess now's not the time to be pondering about such things. Skipping away further down the line, I trail behind Kiyoko as the sounds of weak conversations resonate through the wisps of the people behind. An idle way of passing the time as I wait to be served.
Hey, did you hear about the new beef sandwiches they're doing here?
What is it, 100% Welsh beef sandwiches?
What? That's crazy. Who would think that imported beef would sweep the country just over one school in Tokyo?
That's just so crazy, isn't it, Cheetos?
It's not even Japanese.
Is it Welsh? Their chatter quickly quells out as the line slowly inches forward. Kiyoko grabs herself a tray with an assortment of treats and a hot meal, as if she's indulging in this a little bit too much.
I'll find us a place to sit, okay?
Okay, Kiyoko. Sure. It's not often I get the chance to have a lunch with a girl as cute as her. As cute as her, with Naomi coming along, the chances are surely bound to be reduced. I can almost feel the envious gazes against my back, a sense of dread quickly washing over afterwards.
Hey, will you hurry up? Jeez.
You know what, Natsumi? Just because you said that, I'm going to be in this line even longer. Snatching my own tray with haste another similar strewn platter of food, I hurry behind Kiyoko to join her at one of the few empty tables in the hall.
Do you mind if I sit here too?
Not at all. Oh, sure.
You could be a little more enthusiastic.
What do you mean? We're friends. Naomi? Her voice quickly checking in my mind, aided by Kyoko's flustered face as her eyes shy away to the side. Cheeks aglow in a rosy shade. The situation has now become fairly obvious.
You wanted to eat lunch with me, right? So, here I am.
This is going to be a very visceral situation. I did. The events of yesterday still traced in her voice, her expression and Kyoko's too. None of us exactly sure how to continue as we bask in this newfound awkwardness as a trio. But again, this is our first time really as a trio where we haven't fallen out. The only sound, yeah, there was the beginning as well, where literally Naomi was eyeing Kiyoko. The only sounds to break the silence, Naomi's chair skirting backwards and Kyoko's faint nibbles on her biscuit. It's clear one of us is going to have to take that step forward to get the future we've all been after. A friendship restored. It is our job as the MC to do that, because we as the MC are the spearhead of the story. So, Kiyoko, why'd you create the science club anyway?
Haven't you already asked me this?
Yeah, this is probably about the third time we've asked this, but just give us a refresh, please. Both girls' eyes now locked on towards me. It's clear from the glint of sweat masking their faces that they're both equally as nervous as me and as each other. I'm not sure.
I've always found the world interesting. It's what I wanted to do. But someone thought I'd be better at athletics instead.
Seemingly for the first time today, Kiyoko points her eyes towards Naomi, a look of contempt within them, as if her feelings have once again been let loose within her swirly chocolate eyes.
What? It was because you were good at it. Why would I let that talent go to waste?
You're not supposed to shout at someone when you compliment them.
That was a compliment?
Yeah, if you look at it that way, that is a compliment. You know, not letting your talents go to waste. Is it natural talent? Is it talent that you've built up? Or it's both. Actually, it's both. You either have natural talent or you have talent that you're very good at as you build it up over time. Retreating away shyly, both girls sheepishly divert their gazes away from one another as they both light up in ferocious embarrassment.
I always used to think that you were great.
Really?
Remaining flustered, Kiyoko trails off in the ongoing silence, the aura even more awkward than before as the ice between their hearts slowly begins to melt. Then if you think she was great, then why did you do that in the first place in the past? Like, how about we all do something tomorrow? Spend some time together. As easy as it is for the words to flow off the tip of my tongue, it's just as easy for their expressions to quickly snap into shock as they both peer towards me in bewilderment. That's a good idea. Wouldn't you think it's a good idea? It'll be a much more practical way to restore this friendship if we, as a collective trio, spend some time outside of school.
What?
You can tell that they're best friends, really. They both said it at the same time. That wasn't the response I was expecting.
It's be doing anything else.
I mean, we'd be spending time together anyway. In the club.
Both girls look shyly towards one another before fixating themselves on me with weak smiles plastered on their faces. Despite them being shallow, they're the smiles I cherish. The smiles that send flutters through my heart. Well, it's settled then. Lunch is about to end anyway. Just in time.
But I haven't finished.
The walls between them falling, my lunch break ends to the sight of two once lost girls now engaged in positivities as they both laugh and giggle. Our journey's still incomplete, but slowly and surely their bonds will form once again.
I have to go anyway. I left my bag in the locker room.
Yikes, Captain. Standing up swiftly, almost pushed by her prior nervousness, Naomi's hair sways glamorously under the light. Her expression warm contrasts the previous air of coldness I'd first received from her. It was almost choking.
I guess I'll see you tomorrow then.
What's with all the hesitations? Of course we will. Peering towards Kiyoko with a smile, happiness stays on her face as she turns back towards me. A thankful look coating her eyes as she blinks quickly, scratching her face as she tries to shy away.
Oh, see you tomorrow.
Still trying to combat her timidity, Kiyoko stands from her chair with her hands clutched against her chest, keeping them close to her heart. Our break coming to a close, a wave of content washes over me as I take another look at the girls before me. An image of shattered hearts, broken bonds and tears coating their faces now replaced with something delightful. A picture of a better future as their history as friends brings them back together once again. Yay! We did it, folks. Well, it's just the beginning. I want to make things right again, too. We all do. It is such a hot day. Sitting in the midst of the sunlit classroom, specks of dust float through the air. My gaze shifting away from whatever it was who taught this class and to the various happenings around the room. Others, like me, more engaged in their own thoughts and prospects than paying heed to whatever it is Mr. Kamura is on about.
Remember, class, I will be expecting 100% effort in tomorrow's class.
So Mr. Kabar wants 100% attendance, while Mr. Kamura wants 100% effort.
We have class tomorrow.
What? Did you forget already? It's not like I enjoy being here either.
Wow, what a way to rinse your own job. None of us do, even Kiyoko, a girl so diligently engrossed in the world of academia, a league above the kid stuff us mongrels are taught on a day-to-day basis. Now we'll just skip the basic math, we're going to go to Rocket League Algebra. It would be good to have the answer to seemingly every problem, any problem, at the back of my mind. Despite our problems seemingly settled, moving forward together can't be as easy as I'd like to imagine. With class now coming to an end and an encore nowhere on the horizon, I join many others in the act of rising from my seat. Setting my eyes on my next destination towards Kyoko's desk and out the door, or rather instead, dragged along by the spontaneous events of a familiar face, bursting through the door ahead.
Yo, is this the right class? I'm sorry for being late.
And you still got your shirt unbuttoned.
What? You're not even in this class. That, and class is over anyway. Shouldn't you be wearing a shirt too?
Yeah.
What's wrong with a jacket? The abs always have to be on display. Who doesn't want to flaunt their hard work?
Me! This is against the code of conduct. You're going to have to see the principal about this.
Nah, you're overreacting. It's just a bit of skin. Oh, it's you.
Hi Ken, how are we doing? Setting his eyes on me, Ken strides past the now lengthy line of students eagerly waiting to leave in frustration. What with the door being blocked and all. Hey!
What? That wasn't much of a warm welcome.
Oh, I was just a bit set back by your sudden arrival, that's all.
It's cool, you're a cool dude. Most of the other guys in the gym are a bit jealous, you know?
Is it just because we get to hang out with Naomi? Is that the only reason why they're jealous? Is that why? Guys, just tell me why that you're jealous of me, okay?
You have been hanging with Naomi quite a lot after all.
Thought so. I'll give him credit, but it's not like I'm with Naomi often. I've spent more of my time with Kiyoko recently.
Who is he?
He's Ken. Speaking of Kiyoko, she appears by my side almost out of nowhere as Ken continues beaming a cheerful smile. Wow, really some guy. Really, I don't know much about him to say anything besides that.
Okay.
Anyway, would you really say people are all that jealous? I know Naomi does have a lot of admirers, but so far spending time with her really hasn't caused me any problems. I mean, from the start, there was a lot of problems.
Oh, of course. I'd be flattered if people were jealous of me. Not because of these bad boys, because it means I've achieved something.
Pointed towards his pecs, nipples barely covered by his gym jacket. Ken beams brightly with a smile I can only describe as content. I guess. Knowing you have something others don't is a little rewarding, but isn't that just showing off?
Nah. Anyway, I should probably be off. I don't get paid by the hour to be here, you know?
None of us are, except the teachers, you know. You came here on your own accord?
You're right. I'll see you around.
Thanks, Ken. It's reassuring having a friend like you. Strutting off into the corridor, Ken makes a stylish exit as his eyes scan the room one last time. Hopefully he's preying on someone other than me to become friends with. Kiyoko, on the other hand, looking apathetically downwards towards her shoes, seemingly ignorant of her surroundings. How are you feeling?
Alright.
A bit nervous.
Anyway, shouldn't we get going to the club?
To the club! Yeah, we probably should. Standing complacently beside the door, the occasional classmate skirting past us, leaving for the day, Kiyoko wipes away the timidity of her face. I smile quickly in its place. Our footsteps in harmony, the two of us drawing the diminishing scurry to leave as the calamity in the corridor greets us. The usual sights of students bustling past one another, all with their sights set on concluding their day, another mark on the ongoing calendars that guide us through our daily lives.
Stop looking at me like that. You're always lost in thought.
It's just because you're so wonderful, Kiyoko. And you aren't? You're the one who's always acing tests.
It's because I study.
It's because I... Yeah, you're right. Almost in fury, Kiyoko raised her arms to her chest characteristically, another one of her typical pouts shot in my direction. It's cute, and it's just one of the things keeping me by her side. Even now, her problems are seemingly disappearing before us. With a walk down the corridor coming to a close, the two of us idle outside the labs, caressed by sunlight as a moment of silence passes us. Life beyond the windows continuing to play a hopeless yet somehow captivating tune. The sounds of a world that we're only a small part of.
So, this has kind of become a routine, huh?
You can say that, yeah. Definitely. Well, it is the club room after all.
I mean, me and you.
Aww. What else do you expect? We're the only members. It's not as if the club doesn't have its qualities after all. She did buy a bunch of soda to give out to prospecting recruits.
I don't know, but I like it.
We like it.
I like spending time with you.
Aww. Resting her hand against the handle, her pale skin shining under the sunlight seeping through the windows behind us, Kiyoko slides open the door once again. Our club activity is now officially underway as the two of us step inside one after another, yet somehow still together. As she steps into the center of the room, Kyoko's hair sways gently under the spell of her own motion as she stands eyes Stan's eyes? That doesn't make any sense. Focus on the window before her. Maybe it's just like a stance for the eyes, I'm not too sure. Scenes of nature filling the view as I join her in looking outside, before the tune of her voice diverted my attention back towards the winsome girl I've come to know. Winsome.
Thank you for earlier.
About lunch?
I didn't know how to feel at first,
Aww.
but seeing you go such lengths, it really means a lot.
Naomi?
Of course it's about Naomi.
Breaking her gentle solemnness, Kiyoko pulls yet another face towards me as she stands firm in a stance of mock anger. Well, thanks for the gratitude. It's not like I wanted to. Bursting out into a giggle, Kiyoko keeps her eyes towards me as she stifles the laughter with her hands. Albeit poorly, it's a cherishable sight.
I really want to be friends with her again. I've made up my mind.
Even after what she did?
You said it yourself, didn't you? She wants me back in her life. We're friends, right?
Yeah, right. The pieces falling together, a future with their happiness in reach is now inevitable. Two hearts determined to repay the bonds that lie between them.
Anyway, shouldn't we be doing an experiment? What are you just standing there for?
I don't know. Rushing to the nearby chair, the somehow established resting spot of her lab coat, Kiyoko sheaths herself in white with haste, a symbol of her purity wrapped over her as her smile shines across the room. We're always talking about Kiyoko's smiles in this game. Just a recurring theme. One of happiness and newfound content, stabbing at my heart like a knife as I can't bear to look away. It's enjoyable. Is what we've all been after. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Captain? Tossing my bag across the room into its usual place in the corner where nobody goes to besides myself, a sigh of relief escapes from within as a feeling of comfort washes over me. My humble abode a resting ground between the day-to-day activities of a typical high schooler's life. As much as I enjoy spending time with Kiyoko and Naomi, a place to think to myself is, of course, nice. The sounds of life passing by outside the backing track to the picturesque sight of clothes and books strewn around haphazardly, lit up by the evening sun. Thoughts of earlier flashing through my mind as I wander around the small space aimlessly, the thoughts of how to spend my time this evening somewhere further back in my mind. Naomi, now pursuing their restored friendship, and Kiyoko trailing further behind as the realization of Naomi's feelings settles into her heart. Both now reunited and twined in friendship once again with me somewhere in the midst of it all. My position in this trio, ever unclear as the lives of these people, still lingers on my mind. Thoughts and feelings I still can't understand. I should message her. Message Kiyoko or Naomi. Of course! You know which decision we're gonna be making. Message Kiyoko. A few fail taps later, my message appears on the screen. Any ideas for tomorrow? Does she even know this lingo? It's lazy, but it gets the job done. As Kiyoko would say, it's efficient. Yeah, I can. No, she cannot. Can't you spell? And isn't that your job? Still, her following message more than coherent to understand, and at the end of the day, I guess it is. Kiyoko stood a fragile heart, relying on me to ensure that tomorrow goes smoothly, her and Naomi's first real outing again. It's a lot of responsibility, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Is it my job? Of course it's my job. I wanted to spend time with you, Naomi. "8:29 a.m. We're always at 68% battery. For some odd reason, we always pick the perfect time. Arriving to class submerged in the tide of classmates bursting through the door. There's swarms! It's a wave of them. The ample morning sunlight splashes around the room, lighting the way to my desk. Another morning, another day's worth of fun. With our outing now arranged, all I can do is eagerly wait for the day's events to pass by, sat routinely at my desk as life monotonously churns on. Kiyoko, a little less apathetic, quickly arrives to class behind the fuss, striding the short distance her desk cheerfully with her face lit up by the morning sun. Always about Kiyoko and faces, aren't we? The endearing sight, still stuff glowing perfectly as her smile glistens and her hair sways under the spell of her own movement. As the minutes to the start of class churn away, I watch her actions carefully. My only real chance to see her in her own world. Taking out a ruffled stack of papers from her bag, she places them on her desk with care and begins reading. It's not as spectacular as I imagined, but seeing her in study mode is certainly a rarity in itself. No wonder she's so intelligent. She has to get it from somewhere. Despite being the second member of the club, I can't really join in with the tamer side of science. Her intellectual side masked with zest as attacks life with vitality. Come on, word to me. At least in the club. Either way, it's nice to see Kiyoko like this. It's admirable, and in a way kind of cute. Lifting her face and peering around the room, inspecting her environment, Kiyoko quickly meets her eyes with mine. A startled look and quickly disgust following suit. Raising her petite body from her seat, she makes her way to my desk. With the start of class seeming like a dream away, speaking to her before we start can't be all that bad.
Do you enjoy looking at girls whilst you're trying to study?
Is this another joke? I don't know how to answer that.
How would you like it if I stared at you?
To be honest, I think that would be a different perspective, but okay. I wouldn't really care. It is Kiyoko after all.
Okay, fine.
Taking a firm stance before my desk, Kiyoko locks eyes with mine, a staring contest of sorts now firmly underway, despite me not really being into it. You blinked.
Do I care?
You're cute when you're angry.
You're cute when you're angry. Wait.
Stepping back from my desk, you mean, the winner of this bout is firmly decided. Kiyoko now increasingly flustered, covering her face with her hands as a glimpse of her reddened cheeks peek through.
You can't just say that. Where's your evidence?
The fact that you're not confident with your own speech, that's why. Right in front of me, that's all the evidence I need. Anyway, class is about to start. You should head back to your desk. As much as I can banter with her all day, the stern look from the teacher isn't doing either of us any good. Leaving my desk with a pout, Kiyoko turns to return to her spot in class. A silky chocolate. Okay, so I thought it was blonde at first, then it's brunette, and now it turns chocolate. Left swaying behind her as it flows down her back. A contrast to her usual done-up ponytail.
Oh, wait. What are your plans for later?
Isn't our plans for later always the same thing, to go to the science club? Or maybe lunch? But meet Naomi at the gym and just work our way from there.
Isn't that a little ill-prepared? You need a methodology.
This isn't the science club, okay? There's no methodology in what we're doing. Actually, there might be a little bit of methodology in physical education. You need to sit down.
I'm just concerned.
You don't need to be concerned about... Aww. Her face now woeful. There's nothing I can do but try to ease the uneasiness in her heart. Don't worry. If you were best friends with Naomi before, it shouldn't be too hard for the chemistry between you to come back again.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, boy. It wasn't intentional.
It was.
Leaving it there with a smile, Kiyoko makes her second attempt to turn back to her desk, this time a little more successful, as in she is back to her desk. Despite her uneasiness, Naomi should be feeling the same, but at the end of the day, I don't see them having any troubles. With smiles like theirs, they'll be able to enjoy themselves no matter what we do. But I'm just thinking, once they do become best friends again, what's our role? Are we still going to be friends, or are they just going to push us away? I don't think so. I doubt it anyways. The clock hitting noon, the apt time for lunch arrives swiftly with the class dismissed in the usual manner. A hectic chaos of everyone lunging for the door as the teacher tries keeping that mess under control. Well, it is a mass in itself. Holding myself back, I watch the crowd thin out before deciding to make my own move. A quick stroll past Kiyoko's desk is enough to tell me she isn't coming.
I'm going to stay here. I need to study for a bit.
What? With midterms coming up, they aren't for a while, and surely you'll smash them. She's always at the top of the leaderboard for national, let alone local exams, and midterms should be nothing to her. Yeah, but if you slump even once, that could slip through the cracks.
No, it's... Move it! I'll tell you later.
Okay. Feeling myself dragged by the dregs of the crowd, Kiyoko quickly disappears out of sight. Myself alone now in the corridor, huddled by a moving sea of people heading towards the cafeteria. It was like seeing all those Diggets and Doug trios in the second Pokemon movie. You know, when they just came along, but you had nowhere to go. So you just went with them. The crowds chanting the normal hums of muddled conversations as people passed by one, group by group, swarm by swarms, zounds of zounds. Taking myself to the side so far out of the way to avoid blocking traffic in the hectic stampede before me, I unsheathed my phone from my pocket to try and get any contact with anybody sane in the school. Probably Naomi. Naomi's picture staring back towards me on the screen, the idea to message her about later springing to mind. Yeah, sure. Is it okay for you to meet after class? Following suit, a tiny bubble appears on my screen. My message on the screen, my message neatly contained within. A simple question now awaiting what I can only presume to be a not so simple response. Continuing on with the tide of people, another glance at my phone shows that a message has been read. Somewhere under the same roof, the same sky, Naomi's received my words. The wonders of technology quickly irrelevant in my mind as a hand grips my shoulder. Between a deja vu and fear now in its place. Oh gosh, the first time this was horrific. Hi.
Of course it's okay. We planned it yesterday, right?
You don't have to tug on my tie again. Isn't it a little cheap to be doing this again?
Having your tie?
Yes. Yeah, can't you be a little more creative?
I didn't know you cared so much.
Surprises.
I only wanted to get your attention.
Exactly. Hello, works.
Hello.
That was half-assed attempted, okay?
You're lucky I see you as somewhat of a friend now. Otherwise, I would have kicked you.
Somewhat of a friend. You wouldn't have been anywhere near Kyoki by now if it wasn't for me. Really?
I was joking. Of course you're my friend.
Aww.
I still might kick you if you're not careful, though.
Waving it off, Naomi smiles brightly amidst the backdrop of trading students late for lunch. Her hair tied up neatly in a ponytail, the anatomy of Kyoko's chosen do, as if they'd swapped places.
What are you staring at?
I'm staring into the base, of course. No, nothing.
Anyway, I have to be somewhere, you know?
I don't.
I'm looking forward to school finishing.
Heck yeah. I've always looked forward to that whenever we was in school. What am I saying? This is not third person, but it's talking about me alone. Of course I was excited about school and leaving school. Disappearing into the thinning sea of students around us, Naomi makes her leave as I checked the time on my phone. Enough of it left to grab some lunch and make my way to class. My own emotions looking forward to the end of the day too. The official reunion of two friends. It's something a small chat at lunch can't hold a candle to. Yeah, buddies. The tranquil chime of the bell marking the end of class yet again. The tickle further ensues and the bubbly brunette at the front of the class peers backwards. No, you can't just keep going from brunette to brown to chocolate. Like a chaotic reaction shooting out of a test tube, her energy doesn't cease to amaze me. What?
Are you going to just sit there?
Is this deja vu all over again from the beginning of the day? Shouting through the class even to turn a few heads, it's clear that she's become a bit too chaotic. Calm down. Take it easy. If you want me to go with you to the nurse's office, I will.
But there's nothing wrong with me.
A few giggles simmering through the rest of the crowd's idle gossips. I stand from my chair and make my way to her desk. The pout perched from her face quickly changed into the classical smile that comes to warm my heart.
Shouldn't we get going? She's probably waiting for us.
We thought is you're right. Abdominal guard. Despite us being friends, I'd still rather not face the wrath of angry Naomi. The thought of buying an abdo guard has passed through my mind more than once. This is my first time actually seeing this. What is that? Abdo guard is a knight. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, okay. You know, because, you know, we might kick you there, right? Abdo guard are commonly worn in cricket, hockey, or any other sport with a high risk of crotch impact. Yikes. I should have known what that is.
So let's go.
Being in a family where a lot of sport is watched, I should have known that. Raising from my chair, following in my footsteps, I quickly find myself joined by Kiyoko. Moving down the corridor at a pace between haste and trying to still seem like normal people to any onlooker. Just act normal, just act normal, act normal. The more you try to act normal, the less you are acting normal. But who can blame us? Both of us, looking forward to reigniting their friendship, their hearts brighter than any star in the night sky. If I had knew fixing their... if I knew... Okay, that needs to have a K in it. Fixing their friendship would be this easy. I would have told Kiyoko what Naomi's feeling were long ago. But there wouldn't be any fun in that. Over the past few weeks, my own friendships I've developed with these two have certainly become meaningful. I can't imagine a typical high school life without them. Indeed, it has become something of the norm. Stepping into the naturally lit candescent of the school gym, our footsteps echo quickly percussion to the Clybal slam of the door behind us. Interesting. For now, folks, that is all that there's going to be for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. My gosh, 14 pages. 14 times 6. You'll be able to figure out the math from there. It's 84. Thank you all so much for watching and see you all in the next time of Chemically Bonded. Things are starting to get back together again between the two of them. It's going to take time, but this is a step forward rather than a step backwards. Okay? Baby steps. If you try and jump too much off a step, things will come tumbling down again and we're back to square one. Or maybe even it'll be a square zero because... Sorry, a step... Yeah, square zero. Where there isn't a chance anymore. It's just... No. Which could actually be a possibility in this game. Like, there could be a possibility where you would mix with the choices between Kiyoko and Naomi, and you would necessarily get a bad ending. Either way. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and take care of yourselves.